Amazon is about to fire 18,000 people. That's 6% of the entire Amazon staff. But Amazon is not alone. Take Meta. They're cutting over 11,000 jobs in the coming few months. Salesforce announced that it is going to lay off over 8,000 employees. Goldman Sachs is about to cut another 3,600 jobs. If you take the entire tech industry, for example, there are over 100,000 people who are about to be unemployed. And that's not even the full number. These are not some cheap and skilled labor. These are professional software engineers, accountants, executives, and managers. These are the people with high qualification and experiences who are getting fired. What do you think is waiting for the rest of us, especially the people who don't have the skills that would make them unique? And why is that happening? Exactly. We have entered a recession, a crisis unlike any other crisis we have seen in history, a crisis that could decimate the entire economy, a crisis that can take down everything we have built for years. They don't want you to know that. Instead, they claim that they have achieved the lowest unemployment in 50 years. But that's nothing but a false image of the post-pandemic recovery. Now that the era of cheap money is over, giant corporations can no longer afford to maintain so many employees, knowing that a recession isn't coming, but it's already here. The S&P 500 is back to where it has been before the pandemic. Where on earth did these trillions of dollars go to? Why is everything back to where they have been? Take Amazon stock, for example. It is down by over 50% since its peak. I remember a year ago, everyone was shouting that things will keep growing forever. But here we are. One of the largest companies in the world is witnessing how its stock is collapsing in less than a year. I can't even imagine what will be happening in 2023. If things continue the way they have been going, the stock can hit the rock bottom. It is legendary founder and CEO Bezos is no longer in the driving seat. Who knows where Andy Jassy will take the company to? Meta is down by 65% since its peak. The sell-off is over. The rich people sold as many stocks they could the last year because the market reached its peak and it was time to cash out. The little guys lost fortunes, especially those who got into the world of investing when the era of cheap money began. They lost the barely saved money they could save for the last 10 or 15 years of their lives. It will take them over a decade to get back to where they have been. And we are not talking about just stocks. If we include crypto into that, it's a disaster. People didn't just see their investments go down by 50 or 70%. They saw their wallets destroyed by a CEO who mismanaged the company. Even Apple, the world's largest company that seems unshakable, it's not just the most stable tech company, but it's the most stable company in the world, is now witnessing how its stock price is falling down. It is barely a $2 trillion company now, but back at the peak of the pandemic, its valuation crossed the $3 trillion mark. Over $10 trillion were wiped out of the market. From the market's lows of the 2020 to the peak at the end of 2021, America's stock wealth nearly doubled from $22 trillion to $42 trillion. The bulk of that wealth went to those at the top, since the wealthiest 10% of Americans own 90% of all the stocks. Well, the corporate giants kept telling us that we should keep investing because things will keep growing. They had the inside information that things will come back collapsing. So they started this massive sell-off while telling us the absolute opposite. But what if I told you that Michael Burry knew it since the beginning? After predicting the biggest crash since the Great Depression, he has made hundreds of millions of dollars and joined the ranks of the big guys. In fact, if you go back to his tweets, he actually predicted that the mother of all crashes is coming. It is coming to destroy the market. It is coming to destroy the crypto. It is coming to destroy the stock market. It is coming to take down the economy. The crash has officially begun. The only question is, how bad will the crash be? Will the crash be like the last crash that Michael Burry predicted that took down the world economy? Are we about to witness another Great Depression that our grandfathers witnessed in 1929? But before we get into that, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and let's dive in. When the Fed turned on the printing machine, we all knew that it was going to backfire. I've made multiple videos talking about that in the past, but I got criticized that I'm jealous of the people who are making money now. Where are these people now? If you have made money the last 2 years, good for you. But I'm pretty sure that most of the little guys lost money, since the big guys had far more information that let them sell off everything at the right time, bringing the market to its knees. At the end of the day, stocks don't just crash. Someone is selling big for them to come to that point. According to Michael Burry, there is nothing that can save us from this recession. The printing press will even worsen the crisis. Lower taxes aren't effective enough, and interest rates need to stay high enough to bring inflation down. We are looking at an extended multi-year recession. Before the Fed took us into this roller coaster the past 2 years, it carefully planned to minimize the effects of the recession by extending it into many years. However, the president of Russia had other plans when he invaded its neighboring country. After imposing thousands of sanctions on Russia, the Russian leader decided to punish Europe and cut off their main source of energy, liquefied gas. The second wealthiest continent suddenly had to fight for what was left of gas in the market, pushing prices to skyrocket, which only worsened global inflation. It might have cooled down a little bit, but we need years to solve this problem. While everyone is focused on the crisis that unfolded the last 2 years, things are much bigger than that. Back in 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, when the US won the Cold War, and now it's the only superpower in the world, nobody could question the United States' global dominance. That global dominance came with great perks. The US began using the printing press to solve all of its problems. Look at how the United States federal debt began growing. It printed over $2 trillion to invade Iraq, $5.8 trillion on the war in Afghanistan, $1.7 trillion to bomb Syria, $3.9 trillion to save the economy from the 2008 housing crash, over $5.2 trillion during the pandemic, raising the total national debt to over $31 trillion. Sooner or later, someone will have to pay that debt, and that responsibility will lay on the shoulders of future generations. The problem with debt is that it comes with interest, and with each passing day that the debt isn't paid, it grows faster. The government can't even afford to start paying that debt because it just approved a $1.1 trillion defense budget for 2023, dozens of billions of dollars to support Ukraine against Russia's aggression, and a promise to defend Taiwan should China decide to invade it. Well, the average American who took hundreds of thousands of loans to go to college in a promise to find a stable job that could let him pay the bills is now getting fired from the largest tech companies such as Amazon, Meta, or Salesforce. The younger generation can't afford to buy homes because the economy is in such a bad shape that mortgage rates have even crossed 7%. While the top 1% has made trillions of dollars, the average American is getting out of the pandemic even poorer, forced to go back to living with their parents with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt that they can't pay back.